For a while, I thought the nightmare was finally over. Alex had been arrested. Emily had been charged. The investigation into their financial crimes was all over the news for a few weeks, and then, like most scandals, it slowly disappeared from public attention. Life moved on. Or at least, it looked like it did. I kept my distance from the entire situation. I didn't go to court hearings, I didn't read every update, and I avoided conversations about them whenever possible. After everything that had happened, I just wanted peace. And for almost 6 months, I had it. Until the letter arrived. The letter. It was a plain white envelope. No return address. Just my name written in handwriting I recognized instantly. Emily's. My first instinct was to throw it away. But curiosity can be stronger than anger. So I opened it. Inside was a single piece of paper. The letter was short, but it changed everything. It read, "Daniel, there's something you deserve to know. Something I should have told you years ago. Alex wasn't the only secret I kept from you. Please come see me. There are things about your life that you don't understand yet. Emily." I read it 3 times. Each time the words felt stranger. What else could there possibly be? The affair had already destroyed our marriage. The fraud had destroyed her future. What more could she have to say? Still, the letter stayed on my kitchen table for 3 days before I made a decision. I was going to see her. Not because I cared anymore, but because I needed closure. The prison visit. The correctional facility sat an hour outside the city. A gray concrete building surrounded by tall fences and razor wire. Emily looked very different when she walked into the visitor's room. She had lost weight. Her hair was shorter. Her eyes looked tired in a way I had never seen before. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then she sat down across from me. "Thank you for coming," she said quietly. I almost didn't. She nodded. "I wouldn't have blamed you." I folded my arms. "Your letter said there's something I don't understand about my life." "Yes. So talk." She looked down at the table for a long moment. Then she said the last thing I expected to hear. "It's about Alex." My patience snapped instantly. "If this is about defending him." "It's not," she interrupted. Her voice shook slightly. "It's about how you met him." A memory I never questioned. Alex and I had been friends since high school. Or at least, that's what I believed. We met during our first year after I moved to the city. We played basketball together after school. Studied together. Eventually became inseparable. He was the best man at my wedding. I trusted him like a brother. Emily looked directly at me. "That wasn't the first time Alex met you." "What are you talking about?" She hesitated. Then she said something that made the room feel colder. "He knew who you were long before high school." The past I didn't know. According to Emily, Alex had told her everything years ago. Something he had never told me. When Alex was 16, his father lost his business. The company collapsed. Their family lost almost everything. Their house, their savings, their reputation. Alex blamed one person, my father. Apparently, my father's company had been the one that pushed Alex's father out of business during a brutal corporate takeover. The situation ruined Alex's family financially. His parents divorced soon after. His father never recovered, and Alex never forgot. I stared at Emily. "That's impossible." "I thought so too at first," she said quietly. "But Alex showed me the records." My chest tightened. "You're telling me Alex became my friend because of my father?" She nodded slowly. "Yes. The long revenge. At first, Alex's plan was simple. He wanted to get close to me, learn about my family, maybe someday find a way to embarrass or hurt my father's reputation. But over time, something changed. Alex realized something important. My father was no longer the powerful businessman he once had been. He had retired years earlier. There was nothing left to destroy. So Alex changed his focus. Instead of revenge against my father, he started building something else. A long, quiet manipulation. Emily's voice became softer. "Alex believed the best revenge was to take the life you had." My stomach dropped. "What?" "He wanted the career, the stability, the respect, everything he thought your family had taken from his." The role Emily played. I leaned forward. "And you?" She closed her eyes for a moment. "When I met Alex at work events, he told me everything about you." "You're saying you knew who I was before we met?" "Yes." The room spun slightly. "So our relationship," she forced herself to finish the sentence, "wasn't an accident." For a long time I couldn't speak. The woman I had loved. The man I had trusted. Both had entered my life with secrets. But Emily continued. At first I thought Alex was crazy. His plan sounded ridiculous. What plan? Her voice dropped to almost a whisper. To build a life inside yours. The ultimate betrayal. According to Emily, Alex had slowly pushed their relationship into something deeper. He convinced her that the two of them deserved a better life. Money, security, freedom. The financial fraud had been part of that plan. But there was another part. One I hadn't even considered. Emily looked directly at me. The marriage. My heart started pounding. You married me because of him. She nodded slowly. Yes. The twist. But then she said something that changed the entire story again. At least, that's how it started. I frowned. What does that mean? Her eyes filled with tears. Somewhere along the way, I actually fell in love with you. The words felt strange, broken, conflicted. Alex hated that, she continued. He thought I was ruining everything. So the affair was his way of pulling me back into the plan. My head felt heavy. Nothing about this story sounded real. But Emily's final words were even harder to process. You were never supposed to find out. The last secret. I stood up from the table. I've heard enough. But Emily grabbed my attention with one final sentence. Daniel, there's one more thing. I hesitated. What? Her voice trembled. The fraud money Alex stole. I felt my chest tighten again. What about it? She looked at me with a strange expression. Half guilt, half sadness. It's not gone. I stared at her. Where is it? Emily swallowed. Then she said, it's in an account under your name. The ending. Apparently, part of Alex's original plan had been to frame me if everything collapsed. The stolen money had been routed through accounts connected to my identity. But when the investigation started, Emily quietly redirected the final transfers. Not to Alex, not to herself, to a secure account no one had discovered yet. Mine. Why? I asked. Emily's answer was simple. Because despite everything, I couldn't destroy you. I walked out of the prison that day with more questions than answers. The investigation eventually confirmed the hidden account existed. And legally, the money belonged to me. Nearly $2 million. Money stolen through betrayal, lies, and revenge. Sometimes I still think about the strange path my life took. My best friend who was never really a friend. My wife who entered my life as part of a plan. And the fortune that appeared at the end of it all. People always say revenge stories end with someone losing everything. But sometimes, the ending is something no one expects. Sometimes the person who was supposed to be the victim walks away with the entire game.